Is it worth it? It was a splurge for us.
This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead.
You actually have some very valid points. Is it worth it? It was a splurge for us. I will tell you this. I slice all of my bread after I make the loaf of bread. I let it cool completely, and then I slice it, stick it in a Ziploc bag, and freeze it. And because I slice it and then freeze it, I'm only pulling the slices off that I need to use at that time. So none of my bread goes bad, which in turn saves me money, right? I then take Costco salami, which you get for $9. I think it's $11.99 now. And you buy the huge bricks of salami, and I pre-slice them, or I slice them, and then I stick them in Ziploc bags and I freeze those. So my salami never goes bad. So that saves me the money. When I go to the grocery store, I can spend $9 to $15 for a little tiny bag of salami, which when buying it at Costco and slicing it, I'm taking that huge price and I'm saving about, I'd say 2/3 the price. And then there's the final thing. I slice meats with it. I make lunch meats. I slice cheese with it. I can do all kinds of things. So I can buy the actual cheese product pre-sliced. I can take the money, take the time, slice it up, and then use it at that point. So I use it for making lunch meat, for slicing my bread, slicing my cheeses, slicing my salami. And for me, it totally is worth it. Oh, and I made orange marmalade, and I used it to slice the oranges, which took my an hour of slicing oranges down to 8 minutes. So it saves me time too. Yeah, I do have a link to it in my links in my bio of the one that we have. I highly recommend that. It's a good starter, not a cheap one, really sturdy, very sharp. And there's an extra blade that I buy for the cheeses, for the hard cheeses. So there you go. I recommend it, but only if you think you're going to use it. You want everything that I slice with my meat slicer. You need a list. Okay, well, here's the list, or the best that I can think of. Primarily, I have a serrated cheese blade that I use for hard cheeses. I do salami, I do lunch meat, I do meat, I do bread for making sliced bread. I also do oranges, ironically. It wants me to slice the oranges. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try slicing the oranges with a meat slicer. Because ain't nobody want to sit there and try and slice really, really thin, and the meat slicer would make really quick work of this. Let's see if it works. By the way, slicing the oranges is the most tedious job of all in making orange marmalade. If you can slice an orange, you got this. Game changer. Literally a game changer. Carry on. Cucumbers, any kind of vegetable that is long that I want thin slices. It does really thin, like paper thin, almost paper thin, to thicker. So I would do prosciutto, gosh, you name it. Anything that you would want to slice. Think of a mandolin. It would replace a mandolin on a larger scale, but for smaller items. It would slice potatoes. It would slice, gosh, if you had sweet potatoes, it would totally slice sweet potatoes. Those are big and long, so you would just send them all the way through. We could just keep going on forever with this, right? We could just keep going. I'm sure you and I sitting around a cup of coffee could come up with a ton of ideas. I think the more I play with it, and I've had it for about 2-3 years now, and the more I look at it, because it's easy for me to reach, the more I use it. And yeah, I think it pays for itself, especially with the salami, because I slice that. Oh, let me show you how I slice that. So here's the salami. I mean, it's all sliced, and it literally takes 5 seconds for it to defrost, and I'm not even joking. By the time I get finished with the cheese and cracker tray or the charcuterie board, this stuff is already defrosted. So yeah, I highly recommend a meat slicer. And to be honest, that's only if I could afford it. Like if I had all the other basic appliances that I use on a daily basis, the Instant Pot, the air fryer, the pressure canner, the bread machine would come ahead of a meat slicer for me in my own world. So there you go. Now you know what I know.